See, so far we have seen how to get the data using @wired calling Apex method. Then we saw how to update using the create record and update record of the record API, and then we did the binding of the UI, right, with the lightning. Whenever there was an on change, we captured the value and then we assigned the value to the local variable, and then using the input structure we tried to call the create record. So this was basically unbounded kind of form, okay, uncontrolled components, where it was like whatever data you were sending to the first name last name was going, we had to explicitly go to the event handler and get the data here. So now let us look at the difference here, where we have controlled kind of forms and we can use something called as record edit form. So the record edit form itself is completely templated. It has got a lightning tag, lightning record form, record ID is assigned to it, object API name. In the edit mode, it will take the record ID will be undefined in new mode. In the edit mode, it will have the value of the current record in the UI. So now this is, remember, this is record edit form is for the detail page only, record pages only, okay. Object API name, it will take the current object that is open. If it is the custom object, it will take the custom object. If it is the standard object, it will either take account, contact, or whichever is the standard object. And if you specify mode edit, it will edit those fields. And these fields we have to pass, okay. What are the fields you want to show is what you will specify in your JS controller. So how do we do that? So this is basically the template to create a record edit form. Very easy to use. This is a control form, so you don't use any lightning inputs over here. You just specify the fields. Then basically what you have to do is you have to import the fields that you have. Alright, so that's, and the record ID. This we already seen in the record update. Like say for example, the final, and on submit there is a handle submit. It will handle the final submission of the form and give you a result back. Alright, so at a very basic form we can just build this right away. And let's say we have this lightning record form. I have created one temporary record HTML and override this with this one, okay. So just one markup there. So, and in the form it is just one method, okay. So right now, and you have to import the contact first name, contact last name, but it's not need to import the subject also. So what I have done here is I just put the HTML, so it just takes the record ID, object API name, fields, and handle submit. So handle submit is a method here. It just gives you the result. Record ID, it's mapped here. Object API, it will take it from the current UI, okay. Fields, if you specify which fields, it will show the fields in the UI. So let's save all. So let's wait to deploy. I have to expose this in the record detail page. So we're going to build the record form, and basically I'm checking what are the required fields here. So yeah, this won't be required here, so that should make us okay. Let me save the data. So now accounts need only one. I'm just creating a normal account. It just needs one field to be updated. And then I'll call it Reliance. Account revenue. Let's try all over again. Let's try to create another account. Save this. So Account revenue field is a required field which is part of the object. Maybe it is taking some time to kick in because account revenue is not required. Let's check if there is any validation rule. So maybe it will just take some time to kick in and then we can start creating the accounts. Let's include the account revenue so that let's make the change to this. So the fields are there. So this has to change to name, from account dot name, and this will be just a revenue. So account revenue field again. Let's go there. And I'm going to include this account revenue here. All right. So we have these fields here. So we are going to pass name and revenue. All right. So this field is set. So basically the field is the biggest issue here. And in the HTML form record ID field, object API name is going to take the current one which is there on the screen. So let's save all. Now deploy this to server. So what we are trying to do here is with very minimal code, we are trying to use the record form to create a new record. So let's see what happens. So you have to import the fields that you want to pass to that. So that also takes a argument of fields. Okay. These tags are subject to a lot of change, and you need to you need to be at top of them at the read every release note every quarterly that comes out from Salesforce, because these go into a lot of changes. Okay, so that could be a possibility that this might get discontinued also and something else might come in. All right, but right now it is on and there may be some enhancements maybe, so you need to be on top of this. So it has taken a long time, but it is finally executed that. Deployed source to org. So we need to do a couple of refresh. I think this org is not getting refreshed. So let me just open this again in Google. So I just logged into this org and let's use the accounts. And of course we need to have our developer tools on. So record edit form is not added over here, so we need to make that change here. So let's go here and add the record edit form. So the record edit form is basically for components that you want to override the record detail page. Right now we already have a record detail page, but if you want to override it, then you can use that. But right now what I'll do is I'll pull the same thing into the same component, and remove this whole detail component here. Instead of this detail component, I'm going to have my record form component. It's going to take some time. Alright, one more change that we need to add here is we also need to give it that object API name was not defined. I had missed that part. So see, if here you had defined the record ID, I had forgotten to define the object API name. Even though it will take it from the UI, you can specify the value in all these fields need to be defined. Okay, now this is the method. So fields we have defined, I had not defined the object API name, so I'm giving it account. Okay, the fields are also defined. So now I have added it over here in my UI. Over here, sorry. So let me now add it over here. I have already saved it, and so let me pull the LWC record form. So now if you see, it's getting rendered here. So let's save it. So let's see if it creates an account. Now within the account detail, I have embedded a account name here. So if we say Airtel account revenue 400, save. See, what it does is it creates a new account. Okay, now this is not related to this. So if you go to the accounts, it has created this account. Okay, now it comes here to Airtel. Now this is showing this data because it is having the current instance of this. If you go back to this contact, now the account name has become Airtel. And it has overridden that particular record. So there is no test record that we had. So basically this will update the record. Now as you can see here, now what is happening here is the Airtel one, it's showing what happens is the Airtel one got updated. So if what the reason for that is, we have this record ID. Now if you don't pass this record ID, then the lightning record form will run in a create mode. So if you don't pass this, like say if you comment this out, okay, if you comment this out or remove this totally, this will run in it. Now this will run, even though it shows edit is for the fields, this will now run in create mode. If you give record ID, it will run in edit mode, because this record ID will get updated. It will automatically take the record ID of the current lightning record form will take the record ID of the current record which is open, and it will run in the edit mode. So to avoid that, we don't give the record ID. Now this change already I have done. Now let me deploy this to save all. Now let me deploy this to server. So I am not giving record ID. Okay, so now it's going to run in create mode. It will not get the record ID context. So if I go to accounts, yeah, so I have already deployed this once, so that is why. So now if I say Airtel 4 and account revenue 555, save. Now what it does is it has created a record. Okay, now let's go back here. Now if you see here, it has created a new record. Okay, so this is what the lightning record edit form will do. If you add a record ID, then it will run in edit mode, record edit mode. Okay, so please be aware of that. So pause the video here and complete this lightning record form. This is the fourth way to create a record. We already seen connecting with Apex. We already seen connecting with update and create records. But now without any lightning input, the fields are getting rendered. And if you see here, there are no lightning inputs here. The fields get rendered and it just takes the record ID for edit mode. And if you don't give record ID, it will run in create mode. So if you want to create scratch forms or some urgent forms with little functionality and override the record detail page, you can use this method. So So please pause the video and complete this record form in both edit and create mode.